Today I want to bring you something a little different on BillBaud. I want to present a very controversial and highly chilling interview with a self-proclaimed retro tech hoarder. But a warning, just like an old CRT that has not been discharged, what you're about to see may shock you. Welcome to BillBaud. So just let me dial him in. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you call yourself a retro tech hoarder?
Correct.
And you prefer not to be identified?
Correct.
Why is that?
Well, it's embarrassing. My friends just think I'm into WarHammer.
Okay. So can I ask when you first realised you had a problem?
It probably all started when I saw an ad on eBay for a TRS-80 Model 100. Are you familiar with it?
Oh, the first notebook computer that nobody's ever heard of? Yes, I'm familiar with it.
I thought it would be fun to own. You know, I've always wanted one since I was a kid, so I bid on it and won.
That must have made you very happy.
You would think so, and it did for a while. Then I started looking for accessories for it. I found out people had been doing things like hooking it up to Twitter, and even surfing the web on it. Well, that's if you consider some basic HTTP requests being displayed on a small dot matrix as LCD actually surfing the web. Then of course I started buying old Radio Shack catalogs, magazines that featured the TRS-80 Model 100, and of course those magazines just triggered more nostalgia. Those old magazines had wonderful ads for old retro tech. That's when I realised something terrible.
What was that?
I couldn't stop at one. I began to remember how much I wanted an Apple IIc when I was a teenager. Back then I had an Apple II clone. I couldn't afford an Apple IIc. We weren't millionaires, so I started bidding on them on eBay too. And I won one of those. Unboxing that Apple IIc gave me incredible feelings. It was like being in love for the first time, but this time I knew it was real.
And I'm guessing it didn't stop there.
Of course not. It was not enough just to own an Apple IIc by itself. It didn't come with a monitor, so I hooked it up to a modern LCD. But it didn't feel right. I began to have an overwhelming craving for
Yes?
a CRT.
Wow. It feels like not that long ago you couldn't give away a CRT.
I know, right? Anyway, I got one and I hooked it up to my 2C. It was a beautiful thing. It's grey. So I'm thinking of painting it the same colour as my Apple IIc. But I guess I should retro bright the Apple IIc first, because obviously that changes its colour from a dull yellow to a slightly less dull yellow. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm babbling now.
No, I understand. The decision to retro bright or leave a machine in its original form is one that should be taken seriously. It's a big decision. Please continue.
Okay. Well, once I had it all up and running, I couldn't just let that Apple IIc just sit there like a museum piece. I wanted to get games for it, so of course I started seeking out floppy disks. And then that turned into an addiction all of its own. I soon realised that floppy disks were hard to come by. You can't just walk down to your local office supplier and ask for a 5¼ inch floppy disk. The millennial behind the counter would have you thrown out for obscene behaviour. So I asked my friends to look in boxes, in their basements, to ask their grandparents to see if they had floppies I could have or even buy. At first my floppy needs were very specific. You know, I was happy with single-sided double density, but then it's never enough. I started wanting double-sided, high density, and then even 5¼ inch discs made me feel like I was missing out. So I sought out 3½ inches and even an 8-inch floppy, just to remember how it felt when I held one in my hands. And of course, what's the point of all these floppies if you don't have somewhere to store them? And floppy disk storage containers are rare as hen's teeth. It was like an endless cycle.
Hey, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. It's just been a bit of a journey. So of course pretty soon I started thinking about what it might be like to own other early Apple devices. I found myself regularly visiting recycling centres, scanning Gumtree classified ads, Macintoshes, iMacs, eMacs, first generation iPods, iPads, Apple Watches. As you can see, it didn't take me long to build a collection.
I can see, it's very impressive.
I even bought a damn old mainframe computer, just so I could brag about it at parties.
You get invited to parties?
No, but I'm sure I would if,
Okay, well, thanks for your...
You know what they don't tell you on all those forums about retro tech?
That the Nintendo Wii doesn't classify as a retro device?
No!
That everyone should own a Sinclair ZX Spectrum at least once in their life? Actually, they do tell you that.
No!
That the Dick Smith Wizard is the most underrated...
No! It's the storage space. It's how much room everything takes. It's ridiculous, and it's not even the huge shelves you need for the old computers. Those old computers, they don't just sit there on a shelf with your teapot collection. No, they're really heavy, and the shelves need to be deep and allow for cables to go down the back. But that's not all, it's the boxes and boxes of cables and power supplies you need to keep these things running. Do you know how many of those things can use modern connectors?
No, tell me.
None. None of them. SCART, S-Video, EGA, CGA, VGA, DVI, RF modulators. It's crazy. And that's just video connectors. I have a massive box dedicated just to video connectors. Don't get me started on DIN plugs, bus mouses, Centronics cables, RS-232.
Interesting. Anyway.
And power supplies. I have a huge box just for power packs. And a separate one for power cables. You see, the devices themselves need power, and then the peripherals need power, and the test equipment needs power, and the multitude of other supporting devices need power.
I see.
And what about interconnectivity of these devices? No one tells you this when you start your retro tech hobby. Do you know how hard it is to get a file from the internet onto one of those old machines?
Hard?
It isn't easy.
Yet I'm sensing that you love it.
Yes, I love it. I love the feeling you get when something actually works. I love the sound of 8-bit video game tunes. I love the noise that a floppy disk drive makes when it boots up. I love it when you talk to someone and they say, I used to have one of those. I love the retro computing and gaming community, which has a seemingly reduced number of trolls compared to other social media communities.
Is that true? Because...
And the games. The games. Karateka, Swashbuckler, Dig Dug, Space Invaders. So simple, yet so wonderful.
So I'm guessing you won't be giving up on your love of retro tech just yet?
No. No way. Not unless some other highly addictive hobby comes along. Is Pokemon Go still a thing?
No. No, it isn't. So there you have it. Some chilling confessions from someone obviously caught in an era. It's difficult for many of us to understand why anyone in the year 2020 would so fondly want to look back to the past. You're not a Trump supporter, are you?
No. On this? It says make Amiga great again.
Oh, thanks for that. Actually, it's a Liverpool hat.